Woohoo! You're here at LOA Losers. And wanted to let everybody know real quick. Um, if you're listening to us on a podcast, we'd appreciate if you come and listen to us, watch us. We have a video now on YouTube. So I'm here, I'm Tracy, and I'm here today with mi amiga, Lydia. Hey, Lydia.
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah. And we're going to have conversations about all those things that we have done as LOA losers, trying to manifest or working on very disciplined manifesting our ideal scene, but still living the same old caca, are very disappointed with our results. So this is a place for you if you want to go to the deeper meaning of LOA.
Yes, this is a place. This is a place because we've been there and
Yes.
expanding and creating, right? So, what do we have in mind, my dear Tracy, about the topic?
Well, I'm sure a lot of you out there have experienced where you're in the middle of chaos or what I have even called a nightmare before. And I had to remind myself, and this could be tough when you'd be there, that if you can create this nightmare or this situation that's going on, whether you did it by default, not knowingly, and it seems like you're a victim, then you can create your wildest dreams and you can turn around the situation really fast.
Yes, flipping the coin, that like going from here to here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing because I mean, I can say that remembering that experience, it was like perhaps, well, this February, 2 years ago, uh, it was like I perceive it right now like an explosion, literally.
Oh my gosh.
Like everything flipped in my physical reality, uh, in not a very good way. It was now I can laugh about it, but it was like suddenly out of the blue, because nothing happens suddenly, but I mean, and everything happens suddenly. So, but
Right.
okay, like in the blink of an eye, my physical reality shifted in a very negative way that I would have never imagined in my life. I would never thought that that could happen to me, to my family. And trust me, I've been there, or prior to that, we were in very contrasting, very difficult situations, speaking about health, love, and money, okay? Like the three topics. But on that February 2023, for me was like the collapse, okay? A nightmare, okay? And it happened like rapidly, to the point that my brain was like, okay, because we know what we know, right? And I was like, what? What am I creating? What am I creating? And I started to explore within myself. And I gotta say, thanks to that circumstance, not thanks to that, or because I mean, as a consequence of that circumstance, that moved me to, it was a wake-up call to really focus on myself, right? But from that circumstance, and regarding the topic that you're saying, that we are talking about right now, and that you're saying, I remember that day that I was at night and I was reflecting, if I was able to create so rapidly such a mess, I can create so rapidly my wildest dream,
Yes.
right?
Right. Right. And another thing that, because you brought this, made me think of this while you were talking about your situation, is that I remember being in situations like that too, and sort of terrified, you know, and and also it kind of brings up, maybe audience, you can relate to this. It's like sometimes you may be thinking or doing stuff and thinking, "Oh my God, I'm going to create a nightmare and it's going to happen right now," And so we want everybody not to get freaked out. It's like because I mean, that's a whole nother topic of trying to take back something. It's like, no. But no, I've been in those situations too where you're just like, oh my God. It's like, how did I get here? And then it's like, oh my God, okay, I can get out of here. I just had to remind myself the other day too. It's like, because I created something maybe I really didn't want. It wasn't a nightmare. But I'm like, you know what? If I got to always remind myself if I can create well, when I say this, let's say talk about my life. When I created a certain life scenario that I would say same old stuff or not the results I really wanted, it's like, well, if I can create everything that I didn't really want and that I did, then I can create everything I want or
Yeah,
desire.
yeah.
Sometimes that word want gets wishy-washy, but
Consciously, right?
yeah, consciously. And I've had an example, this happened a long time ago, Lydia. Um, this is when I was about 10, 12 years ago, but we were on our way somewhere in the car and we stopped off to see a friend. And us and the friend, we were kind of talking about not positive topics, not
Mm.
being mean to each other or anything that. But I know everyone out there, I'm sure you're doing it, where you get caught up in a conversation and the drama of it sounds juicy. And I noticed it, and we got back in the car to take the rest of the trip, and we got probably an hour and a half away, and we had a flat tire, and it freaked me out. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I was just talking so negative at that person's house, and then here it is. Now, I'm not saying that those two were tied, but it didn't help. And so, you know what I did is because I stayed calm, um, we put on a spare, those little tires where you just limp your way to the next spot. And we were in the middle of nowhere, but we found a Walmart in a small town where they did tires. And I got my notebook out and I started writing and about about what we were talking about right now, about turning it around and
Mm.
how I wanted it to be. And it was easy. We got the tire. We were late, but we went and we got home the next day. But it was really a conscious, uh, I don't know what I
Respond.
response of saying, "Oh my God, what was I doing back there at my friend's house?" And then boom, the tire goes, and then
It's
and
like the
we're
universe. I'm hearing you. I'm listening, Tracy. Yes.
yeah, and it was pretty spooky because we literally had to limp on this. Um, they call them donuts here. It's just like this
Okay.
little donut for 2 or 3 miles to an exit that it took us a while. And back then, it wasn't just like because this was probably in 2010, I don't know, could be even eight when, we had the internet and we had all that, but
Yeah,
not like
but
we do now.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Yes.
because first we were like, there's no tire stores open because it was late. It was later. And then it was like, finally, I'm not a big Walmart supporter, but like, love you, Walmart. You know, you had a tire store open. And yeah, and I just got that notebook out because I was so afraid. And I guess what I'm trying to tell the audience at that point, I was so afraid that I was going to create more crap. And it kind of
Mm.
scared me in a little bit too. It's like, and I had to remind myself in that writing, if you could create that whole scenario, then we can like redo this.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't totally crisis. It wasn't like a tree came down in my house or something to crush the roof. It was a tire. So, but you can apply that to
Yeah.
lots of things.
Yeah.
Like, what did you do to turn your situation back around?
I love this question. And first of all, recognizing that and noticing that I was tuning into so much powerlessness and fear. I mean, I was anxious
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that translates into fear. We know that's right. So, but beautiful audience, if you are new to this, it's like, and I'm pretty sure it's going to make sense to you that when we're talking about worry and anxiety, they are rooted in fear. So, because nothing has happened yet, but we are creating stories consciously or unconsciously, and boom, we are activating that fear in the unknown. So I was aware in a sense that I was feeling powerless and that I was feeling anxious and worried. But back in those days, I was like uh, trying to or pretending that everything was okay, like not listening to myself. I was with clients and students, and my clients and students, they were doing great, but I wasn't applying my teachings. I wasn't doing the job for me. So it was a big revelation for me. So what I did is exploring within myself. I asked for, well, the support was there, right? My mentor was
Mhm.
there for me. Nick was there for me, and his partner, Nick, and another dear friend, Brooke. They were there for me, guiding me, and another friend, Hester, that she's in the Netherlands. They were there for me, like, okay, Lydia, we're here. Let's assisting you, exploring, like what's going on, right? On and from that moment, it was for me like very important to know myself, and most importantly, to recognize that, you know what, this is the situation, this is the now. I don't like it. I created that, and it's like face the situation, but from a place of being grounded, face the situation, learn from the situation, transform the situation. And I did. So that's the invitation. Uh, in a sense, I mean, what you did, my dear Tracy, like, okay, I'm going to write, I'm going to reflect on it. I can create a different experience. I don't like this. It is caca, as you say. It is
Yeah.
caca. So I'm going to explore the way this is evidence. I am powerful. I mean, it was unconsciously because we don't want that to happen to us, right? Of course we don't. But it's like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to explore my beliefs, to tap into different vibrations. I mean, to transform this, because that is one of the things that. And let me know if this resonates with you, my dear Tracy and beautiful audience. Please, we welcome your comments. Send us an email about what you think. But this is one of the things that made me a LOA loser, right? Pretending that everything was okay. Yes, I'm super happy. I'm super happy. I'm high vibe. No, you're not, because the physical body was feeling that powerlessness, right?
Yes, and that's easy to do because, and I'm sure our listeners can relate to this. Like, how many times have we heard, well, just get happy,
Yes.
And I gotta say, I wanted to really like strangle somebody for that because I was like, okay, I just have to be happy. I'm gonna go, and I'd go on and it's like, wow, that's back to that episode where it's like that's sticky. It's almost like them saying that they're giving you permission of sticking that smiley face sticker over the problem and saying, I'm
Yeah.
not going to look at it and I'm just going to be happy.
Yeah.
There are some situations where you can do that, but not in what we're talking about nightmare
No.
situations because I
No.
mean,
Yeah.
people and the tire was easy. And
Yeah.
I don't even know. I mean, tires sometimes just blow. I have no idea. I mean, really, if I admit it, I don't know if it was really connected to that. But at that time in my path as the LOA loser, learning how it worked, was I connected the dots where I thought, oh, I was being so negative back there that of course I would attract this. And then
Mm.
maybe it was just time that that tire went too. We're gonna play all the things, but I have been in what I call dark night of the soul, where I went down,
Yeah, me too.
and
Yeah.
it's like, and that one you can fully take responsibility for. Even
Yes.
it's like, and I got so caught in it. I'll tell you this, audience, that I could not see how I could create anything else. I felt I went where Lydia went. I felt so powerless, and I did not turn it round for a long time, maybe over a year. I mean, it really snatched me. I
And would
tried really
you?
hard, but I put quote. I was like, here's what I did. I took quotes, listened to everything I could get a hold of. I mean, people come in the place to fix something, and they'd see quotes hanging over all over my
Yeah.
walls, all over my place, and they must have thought I was crazy, but I didn't care because I was crazy. You know, I was like,
It's like what's going on.
I
So
was crazy.
would you say that from that moment you started like to know more about yourself and to start to change your definitions about what real power is? Would you say that?
Yeah. Towards the end, and then in the following years. That's how, I mean, I really went down. I really did. I mean, it
Yeah.
was, I don't even know really how people describe or what is the dark night of the soul, or does it really exist? It's
Yeah.
just that description just describes it. It was just so dark.
Yeah.
And I really felt trapped, and that there was no way out.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
mind went with me there too and went, you can't get out. You can't get out. You know,
Mm.
this sneaky thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'd have to say that looking back, like you're talking about, it took a while. I really needed to, and now I understand why I went there,
Mm.
but I don't ever want to go back there.
No, and you're not, and you're not because
Like,
again, it's like, yeah, totally, totally get it. But we don't go back,
yeah,
and it is just again that's a misunderstanding that
mhm,
we used to practice that, but we cannot. I mean, after going through those kinds of circumstances
yeah,
and taking care of ourselves and being able to transform them and expand, there's no way that we can go back because
right,
again it's like we expand as soon, I mean, we are expanding, we're in a different vibration, and this is where law of attraction uh, gets right to the point. What you put out, you're gonna get back. So yeah, there's no way unless we believe and we stay in the same loop. But it is not your intention, right? So as long
right,
as
right.
intention,
And like you said, it's like I'm not going to go back, but I my intention probably was one of the reasons why I experienced that is because we have these deep down intentions, everybody, that we want to be joyful, be happy, live this, heaven on earth, beautiful life, like we know we're supposed to.
yes,
And I think what happened to me was because I wanted that so bad that, and the vibe I was in said, okay, you're going to live something that is going to show you how to clear everything that is keeping you in resistance from receiving and keeping you from in a vibe that matches what you want. And I'd have to say that was the big deal. And and all I'm going to tell you is something else, audience, is that I just can see now where I could have gotten out of it sooner, but I my mind just took me away. And so that's why we say live from the heart and not the
yes,
mind. I didn't follow my heart. I followed the trap in my mind. And so I lived a trap.
Yes. Yes, I totally get you. I totally get
Yeah.
you. And that's to wrap things up.
Yeah.
It's like to encourage you, beautiful audience, if you're going like through a circumstance or kind of circumstance that we just mentioned, uh, reach out for help. Really.
Yes.
Reach out, no matter, I mean, no matter no matter what, reach out for help because when we reach out for help, we sometimes we interpret that as vulnerability. And now I understand when they say being vulnerable is being powerful because we recognize it's being responsible because we can accept that circumstance. It's taking action. It's making a commitment to ourselves that okay, I don't know what to do, and I need help, and that's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Final words, my dear Tracy, or like the end of
Yeah,
the
no, no, it's for real people. I mean, if you're looking at your life and you're going, "Oh my God," it's like this was not what I signed up for, and you're not living in a situation you want to. Really tell yourself, it's like, I if I can do this, create all of this, I can turn it all around. And when you make that decision too, it's going to be more effortless than it was creating the situation you were in. And then last but not least, hey, everybody, email us for your LOA LooZer certificate of achievement. Um, those of you that are on the podcast, tune into the YouTube so you can see the certificate I'm holding up right now.
love
And,
those.
and we'll make you a personal
Yes.
certificate and PDF, and you can print it out to have it.
Very proudly, just as we have. Well,
Yes.
beautiful audience, enjoy your week. Happy holidays from the bottom of our hearts. Enjoy yourselves. Have the best day ever, and ciao for
Happy
now.
holidays.
Ting, 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 ting.